hear much of that original track.
What do you got?
Chad, how are you feeling? Are you scared?
I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous? What kind of music makes you terrified?
Anything I don't know.
Well, you're in the right place.
That is such a profound point. What makes you nervous? What makes Chad Smith, a stadium-level drummer, nervous? Playing music he doesn't know. Let's come back to that at the end of the video. It's a very, very important point to fully understand.
Because
one interesting thing I have noticed about Chad Smith in the past is he tends to, I don't think it's on purpose, but he tends to ghost the bass drums. It's something that I haven't really seen a lot, and it's, I mean, to be completely honest, it's probably something that people will tell you not to do. I think it's a good example of screw that, you play. And if you play with heart and soul, you will steamroll anything like that. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. I mean, I've just heard, that from engineers and producers, how can we tidy up your kick playing? And we don't want any feathering on the kick because, it's extra hits, and we start getting into compression and gating, and we could be getting into trouble. So we want clear, even kick hits. And when you're not doing those kick strikes, nothing, like silence or you hit it, no in between, right? Like on the snare, how you've got ghost notes, obviously, and I guess even dynamics on the toms, cymbals. Kick seems to be binary, off or on, and I've noticed in the past, and I saw a little bit there, that Chad Smith sort of breaks that rule. And again, I always come back to this, and this always gets taken the wrong way as I'm critiquing these legendary drummers. I'm not. I'm saying there are no rules. So screw that. You just play. You play from the heart and soul. And if you play with heart and soul like Chad Smith clearly does, all of that technical or things, you can turn that into your advantage. Put it that way. You can flip it and make it a trademark thing. Yeah, I ghost on the kick. Live with it. Maybe it adds to the percolating groove like a snare ghost. Maybe it's a whole new thing. Ghosting on the kick. There you go. I mean, jazz players have done it for years, feathering the kick drum. Anyway, I'll move on from that point. I know it's going to get taken the wrong way, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying.
How dare you?
I am stunned how close he seemed to get to the original part. And I thought, when I mentioned that, this is going to be drumless, because I think on the other DRUMEO, listen first time, play along things, they also were listening to a drumless version, which blows people's minds, because they're like, well, how do they know what to play? Well, yeah, they're listening to the music and they're improvising a part quickly. And it's fascinating to see what they come up with in the moment in a pressure situation. My other big takeaway from this video, and this is something that I talk to students about, it's something that I talk to my drummer and drum teacher, working drummer and drum teacher friends about, being nervous. Now, being nervous is always seen as obviously a bad thing, and we have to stomp out those nerves. And I'm bringing this up because he said he was nervous at the start because he hadn't heard the song. He's playing a song he doesn't know. You're potentially going to fall flat on your face, right? So he has been one of the most famous drummers, I guess, in the world. He's a household name for decades, I believe since the 80s or at least early 90s with the Chili Peppers. And he will still freely admit he gets nervous, he doesn't know the song. Now, this is really important, I think, to understand. It's not a bad thing to be nervous in itself. It's could be counterproductive if you're, let's say he was getting extremely nervous or anxious before just a regular Red Hot Chili Peppers show. Then we might have an issue, because that's gonna possibly eat away at him and degrade from his performance and build on anxiety. Being nervous because you've never played a song before and you're about to play it, and this is getting filmed and recorded, and it's going to be watched by millions of people, that's totally different. That is sort of more on the excitement world, right? You're excited and there's a bit on the line. Yeah, everyone's got an ego. I wouldn't want to be doing a first take song and, you know, I might just make a real hash of it. So you are going to have a bit of, oh, this is exciting. And it's kind of the way you would play when you first played on your instrument and you're playing with friends, and perhaps your friends aren't that proficient on their instrument. They're learning on the spot. You're learning on the spot. And there's just this excitement and you're a bit nervous and you don't want to ruin that first gig or the first couple of gigs. It's a kind of a magical moment. And I guess what's really cool here is DRUMEO's kind of capturing that moment. And honestly, hats off to these drummers, because this could fail, right? I mean, I don't know if it spectacularly failed and someone looked really silly. Maybe they wouldn't put it out. I don't know. Or maybe they'd use it as an example of, hey, look, everybody's human. To just jump out there and play on it. And I mean, there were, I guess, structural mistakes there where he crescendoed and, it was actually the breakdown. And to be expected. It's not my critique of him. It's just an observation. And then he, might have missed the Tom breakdown bit, which there was a Tom breakdown bit in the original song by the looks. Again, it's not a critique, and I'm not saying I'd do any better. I wouldn't. I thought that was actually kind of phenomenal, but it shows you how real it is. I remember, and this kind of reminds me of an interview I listened to with, from memory, I think it was on the Ard Hit That podcast, which if you haven't heard that, get on it. It was either with Brain or Matt Chamberlain. I'll have to check it after this. Whichever one of those two gentlemen played with Tom Waits. And there was a song that they were recording, and I think Tom Waits on purpose did not show the drummer the song. And they're in the studio, like with his studio time, and he's like, hey, play something along with this. Like literally no idea where the song goes, how long it is, where the verse is, where the chorus is, where the bridge, if there is a bridge. And Tom Waits' info or feedback to the drummer was minimal, and it was just play. And there's not a very good story because I'm not remembering very good details about it, but the crux of the story was that whatever got recorded in that moment, they just kept. And that is on a recording where it's just literally playing a song that you've never either heard or played before, and you don't know how the song goes. And that's on a recording. And that's, I guess, kind of the freedom and breaking away from what we're used to, which is what we're getting here. I just think it's so cool. One of the segments that I did at music school at my jazz degree was free jazz. Now, a lot of people can go, oh, free jazz. It's just boring, or everybody's soloing at the same time. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But the idea was to take us students out of our comfort zone and just say, hey, just play. Oh, what should I play? I don't know. Just play. Oh, well, time signature? Nope. Chords? Key signature? Nope. Just play something as a group. Now, make it happen. It's an interesting concept. I mean, what do? You might come up with something really cool. Necessity can be the mother of invention, and I think when you have to come up with stuff on the spot, sometimes you're going to come up with some really cool stuff. It's good to keep that recorder going too, because you might come up with something, and often the free jazz jams we would have, they would just get extended and extended and extended. I mean, everyone would end up dropping into something that was in their comfort zone anyway. But along the way, you might actually hit on something and go, hey, that was actually quite cool. Or it might have been cool how you got into it. Or it might have been cool how you got out of it. Because you are being thrust into that full immersion moment where you don't have a choice. It's just you play. Now, play. It's out of your comfort zone. It's quite cool. Anyway, I've gone off way on a tangent. I think these videos are brilliant.